Learn to run faster, right? Meow. No, this isn't a gimmick. In this episode, I'm going to give you 3 strategies that you can immediately apply to improve your running pace or your speed. Welcome back to the Omega Sports Learn to Run podcast. My name is Dr. Matt Meinerd, pronounced Meinerd for a reason, and I am honored to be your host. If you are new, welcome. Here's how it works. You vote on the topic, and I produce all my content on all my social media platforms around that. I talk about that topic on the podcast. I lecture about it on the YouTube. And then on my Instagram, I've got videos and infographics, and you name it. This is your show. So welcome. If you are a regular, welcome back. It's crazy. My mom, she still won't listen to me with advice or anything that I say, but the show has been downloaded in 31 countries. So that's just how it works, right? You can never treat family. Family never listens to you. If for some reason you feel compelled to watch this episode, we're going to start posting the video with the audio to my YouTube. And you can see my background, Lola, all sorts of fun stuff I have here in the background. So without further ado, what was the winner? What was the topic? What was the topic that you guys picked? I should have known the moment that I've been waiting to put this on there as an option. I give 3 options because I knew as soon as I did it, people were going to pick it, but that's okay. It was how to run faster. How do I get faster? I'm all about safety. I'm like, nobody likes the safety compliance officer guy. Like, guys, I want you to be safe here first, and then we can go faster. I know, but truly without safety, if you're injured, we don't have speed, but I got to give the people what they want. So I'm going to break up how to run faster, or we'll call it need for speed. I'm going to call a part 1 and a part 2. So this episode and another episode will both be on the same topic of how to run faster. The way that I'm going to separate it and break it up is that this episode is all about your technique, your mechanics, how you literally move. And that's why you'll see it's crazy. You can instantly be faster by not wasting energy. And next episode will be all about training and training adaptations and how to actually train, whether it be strengthening, intervals. We'll get into all that stuff next time. But this episode is all about technique. So what are the things? I'm going to break it up into 3 topics. There are 3 movement strategies that will slow down your running pace or your speed. There's 3 things. The first, and we'll get into these, the first is not leaning forward. If you are not leaning forward, that's slowing you down. The second is not swinging your arms. If your arms aren't moving, that's slowing you down. The third, my arch nemesis, jumping. I hate jumping. Just my knees hate it, my calves hate it. That's my name of the game is we're trying to take the jump out of running forward, but we have to talk about it because if you're jumping, it is slowing down your speed. So let's dive into the first one. Lean forward. In order to get faster or to run faster, you want to lean forward. So for this first one, I want to try something a little bit different. I want to see if you can have the answer before I even say the answer. You ready? So, have you ever seen somebody on a Segway or a hoverboard, those little things that blew up a while ago, a Segway or a hoverboard, have you ever seen somebody move forward without leaning forward? Have you? No, that's how you get on. That's how you slow down is you go upright. You lean back to slow down. How about have you ever seen somebody move a couch or scooch a couch forward without leaning forward and leaning into it? Probably not, because otherwise the couch wouldn't move. Have you ever seen somebody roller skate or ice skate for that matter without leaning forward? I have. I've done it. It's awful. I don't go anywhere. I fall. Okay, I think I'm done. No, one more. Have you ever have you ever hugged a family member, not your significant other? Have you ever hugged a family member without leaning forward? You know what I'm talking about? That whole you get close, you're like, oh boy, we're kind of getting too close here. I don't know. Should I do I start the hug now? What do I do? So we all do that kind of that lean into it. And unless it's your significant other, that's a whole different story. But yeah, leaning. What's the answer? It's simple. You want to have your body weight, your weight of your body, move in the same direction that you are moving. If you want to move forward, you lean forward. It's as simple as that. So if you're not leaning forward, you are slowing yourself down. If you just love the mechanics and you want to know more about this one specific topic, leaning forward, episode 2 is where I talk all about using gravity and how to lean forward, hinging at the ankles to propel you forward. Episode 5, I also talked about if you are not leaning forward, you're overstriding, you're braking, you're slowing yourself down. Episode 5 is where I talked all about that. So if you're looking for more, episode 2 and episode 5. The second thing that you could be doing that is slowing down your running form or your running speed is if you are not swinging or you're not moving your arms while running. Can you imagine that if you've seen somebody? It's like they're like a linebacker. Their arms aren't moving. They're out wide. So think about it this way. You have arms for a reason. I know you probably thought you have arms to pick things up, and no. The reason we have arms, I try to say this with a serious face, the whole reason you have arms is to just assist your legs while running. They work together. They work in unison. It's like team arms and team legs, but they're all on the same team body. There's just two different teams. So imagine like this. If you, let's say you work for a company and you were working on a project, there was a big project. That project was moving forward. It was running. And we had two separate teams, team arms, team legs. What would happen if team legs, you're team legs. I know that about you. I knew that the moment I met you, you're on team legs. You're the good guys. If you're on team legs, you're working so hard. How would you feel if you look over to I don't know, a cubicle? I never worked in an office. You look at arm cubicle, and they're just chilling. They're not moving. They're not doing anything. They're not doing any work at all. What do you have to do? Team legs have to work harder. Your legs have to do more work. So bottom line, if your arms aren't assisting, if they're not assisting the legs with this reciprocal motion to help move the body forward, they're working against. So the arms should work in unison with the legs. The third, jumping. If this was a movie and there was a villain, it would be jumping. You've heard me say it before. I've said it once. I will say it a million more times. Running is about going forward, not up, not side to side. Running is about going forward. And I know what you're thinking. You have seen advertisements on Instagram, anywhere. You've seen pictures, maybe big billboards selling running shoes or running gear. And you've seen this snapshot of this human being that looks like they're running and they're like 30 feet in the air off the ground. And it looks cool, right? It looks awesome. But actually, I got a quick story for you. One time I was actually a poster child. That's not true. Twice. One time I was a poster child at the childcare that I went to growing up. I hated going there. But the second time I was actually a poster child was at Orange Theory Fitness. So if some of you aren't familiar, Orange Theory Fitness is a type of exercise where you're on the treadmill, you're running, you're on a rower, you're doing exercise in the weight room. So I was a longtime member and I did what they call a transformation challenge, which, long story short, it's 8 weeks. How much weight can you lose? So me being me and being all or nothing, I went crazy with it. And in 8 weeks, I lost something like 22 pounds and I won the transformation challenge. I got one of those big checks. I've always wanted to get a big check, even though you can't actually check those out or cash those. I got a big check. And then Orange Theory was doing some marketing. And they're like, all right, we need to help promote this next transformation challenge. let's get some people with a good story. Who has a good kind of sob story or overcoming? We all like a good story. Well, that's me, Matt Minard. Not only did I lose all the weight, I recently had a situation in my personal life that could have knocked me down. It could have made me, and it did for a while, extremely bitter. But over time, you can make a choice. You have a choice. You can get bitter or you can get better. And I'm grateful that Orange Theory gave me that avenue where I went nuts. I was a part of a family. I lost the weight. So they liked my story. Not only that I lost all the weight, but my journey and what brought me there. So a part of this marketing was I had to meet with this media crew. And that was my first time ever like being on set, so to speak. So it was super nerve-wracking. It was crazy. And part of it, they're like, I know you're like, where's this story going? Part of it was they're like, all right, we want to get an action shot. We want to get an action shot of you up in the air running. I'm like, ooh, yeah. So there's this thing I have about jumping, like running is about forward, like, yeah, we don't care. We don't care. I want you to be like, see how high you can get your arms and your legs in the air. I'm like, this goes against everything that I believe in, but okay. And I spent the next like 30 minutes trying to jump and sink my arms and look like I was running. And it was awful. It was awful, but that's what they do. And here's where this all comes down to it is they are trying to market. Orange Theory, the running stores, they're trying to market. They're trying to market shoes and apparel. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's their job. Their job isn't to teach you how to run. That's my job. That's what I'm trying to do. So I apologize in advance. You will never be able to see another running commercial or advertisement or a picture on social media without thinking, oh boy, that person is jumping and they don't know it. And it looks cool. It does, but it doesn't feel cool. And you'll see, I'm going to talk about an analogy here why that adds up. If it's just one jump for one shot, cool. But if you're jumping over 2, 3, 4, 5, 10,000 steps or jumps, oh, I don't have to tell you, calf pain, episode 1 was all about that, knee pain. So here's the analogy that I want you to think about to try to conceptualize this. Because I think about the world in arrows, directions, forward, down, left, right, with the physics and biomechanics. But I want you to think about this. This is hopefully relatable. So think about a mortgage. You buy a house. Let's say you buy a house for $100,000. Your goal over the next 30 years, imagine like a long run, you're going for a long run. Each month, you're paying towards the principal. But what else? There's the interest rate. Interest rate doesn't go towards the principal. So if you're jumping, if you're going up and down, you're spending money, spending energy, you're doing work, but it's not going towards the principal of moving you forward. So it's going to take a lot longer to pay off a 30-year mortgage with a high interest rate. And if you've ever bought a house, you know, when you sign all the pages that you don't read, when it comes to the one where it shows what in the end of 30 years, how much you're going to pay, you don't look at that number. They say, you just sign it. Cause it's like that $100,000 house over 30 years, you spend 300,000. It is nuts. So by jumping during running, we are paying interest. We're paying high amounts of interest. The lower amounts of interest rates that we pay, if you can even get it to the point where you are just running totally horizontal, and you're only leaving the ground to go up and you're not leaving the ground to go further forward or horizontal, we're wasting money. It's slowing you down. So the application, so this is where the rubber meets the road. What can you do to get faster? 3 things. These all go in line with what I just talked about. And I would actually recommend doing it in this order. First, I would have a day where it's like, I am going to run, but I'm not going to try to be a superhero. I'm just going to enjoy it and I'm going to listen and learn. Just one session. That's it. Just 20 minutes or the course of the episode. I would listen to episode 2 on this podcast where I talk all about that. Hinging forward, hinging at the ankle, the hankle, keeping your calves quiet. And I talk all about how to lean. And if you listen to that on your next run, the next time you go out, you'll be leaning. Then the next session, next run, whenever that may be, you're focused. Because if you focus on all 3 things at once, we will get nowhere. Even 2 things at once, we will get nowhere. one thing at a time. Second session, arm swing. You're thinking, this run, I'm going to work on my arm swing. Team arms, team legs, we're going to get on the same team. We're all going to go towards the same goal of going forward. And so I want you to think this, picture this. Your arms, imagine like your hands, you're just very lightly gripping. That's key, just lightly. Don't squeeze the life out of it. You're lightly gripping a handsaw and you're sawing forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. You're not moving your arms at all. That takes work, that takes energy. The legs, team legs have to work harder. So you're thinking, I want handsaw, not an axe. So not only do I want you to don't keep them still, but when you swing them like a handsaw, not like an axe, like you're holding an axe. I've talked before about if you're an axe murderer, when you run, your arms go up and down, they chop up and down, you're going up and down, you're running, you're bounding. That's this whole thing. So picture that. Think handsaw. Real quick, also another one that people love is same idea, same exact concept. But if you were to have a towel or like a little ace bandage and have it around your waist and grab onto it, and imagine like you're drying off your low back, that's another way to kind of visualize this forward and back, not up and down. And the third is my arch nemesis, jumping. Jumping. What can you do? Next run, you're leaning appropriately, you're doing the hankle, you've got your arm swings, you're sawing wood, you're not killing, you're not axing, you're a good human being. On your third and final learning session, we'll call it, I want you to think that you are running in a room that has a low ceiling. It's literally your height. If you're 5'10", 5'4", that height is the height of your ceiling. When you're running, don't bonk your head. You ever bonk your head? It's terrible. Don't bonk your head. And you think about that. And ideally, what will happen is you do. You are more horizontal and less of this up and down. If you want to have something to do, we learn by doing and experiences. If you want more guidance, I have a free online, I call it experience. It's a little course, quick course called the Tennis Ball Necklace Experience. Oh yeah, we're videoing now. You see that there? That's the tennis ball necklace. Basically, it's a tennis ball with a shoestring around it, measured where the tennis ball is around near my center of mass, near my belly button, a little bit lower. And it's like my jump detector. My cue is, all right, I want you to run forward and minimize. The key is minimize. Minimize movement of that ball. And what will happen with everybody, because unless you've trained, literally everyone will go up and down, you'll feel the ball smack you in the belly. And that's your cue. So goal, minimize the ball movement. The cue, whoosh, you feel the ball bang against your belly. Oh, I must be jumping. I must be going up and down. Then the effect is, do I try to move forward with minimizing the ball movement? Can I try to minimize the ball hitting me in the stomach? And it's pretty cool. It is a great way to take some of the jump out. It takes more time than that, but that's a way that I show you tennis ball necklace experience where you can download the form where I tell you how to make it, how to get the supplies on Amazon. And literally, you watch a video of me doing it. I'm in your ear. We learn by visual learning and auditory learning. So I really want you guys to know this stuff. So I'm in your ear. I've got a tennis ball necklace on. You've got one on. It's like we're together. It's so fun. So you can do that. I know this is kind of challenging. I honestly never thought I'd do a podcast because I'm such a visual learner that I thought there's no way I could ever do that. I couldn't see myself doing a podcast because everything is visual with me. But that's why I try to speak in such a way that is helpful for visual learning, but still, it doesn't do justice of what actual seeing and doing does. So if you're questioning what is some of this stuff, I want to learn this stuff more. On all my socials during this 2 weeks where all the content is about this, I'll show you. I'll show you some visuals of me using my arms properly, of me leaning properly, of me not jumping. So don't worry, if you're a visual learner, I will have this on the YouTube, my YouTube Learn to Run, number 2, and my Instagram learn.to.run. So if you are currently running and you are looking for training programs, I've got you. You can join the Learn to Run Club. Learn to Run Club is a monthly membership where you get access to all of my training plans, 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon. And you'll see I do it differently. I do it where there's a beginner and an advanced or intermediate. And you'll see that the programs are designed. I spent so much time designing them, doing them, applying them to make sure that they get you safer and faster. My whole thing is smarter, safer, and then faster. Included in that monthly membership is once a month, you can send me a video of you running. Send me a video. We FaceTime, we chat, we talk. Hey, what's going on? Where do you live? Cool. Let's look at your video together. And then it helps improve your running form, your mechanics. So I can literally look at you while you're running to make sure that we're getting it. If you are not running or you have not run in a long time, I would recommend my program, the Desk to 5K. I create these programs out of need. I had so many people say, hey, I want to run, but I work at a desk all day. I don't know what to do. I have a program where it's just a one-time fee, Desk to 5K, where I literally first 2 weeks, you're only walking. You're not even running yet. I teach you what to do at the desk, how to activate certain muscles, how to move the joints that get tight all the time. 3 things. It's very simple. And then I transition to getting you running and walking, where in the beginning, you're only doing 30 seconds of running and 90 seconds of walking. And we're doing rounds of that. Each time we're adding. So it's very systematic. It's strategic to not get you injured. And I have a lot of people that go on after that Desk to 5K program. Then they join the club. And you know how it is. You do a 5K. What's next? 10K. What's next? Half. So I have that offer there available for you. If you are a physical therapist and you are looking to become an expert in running mechanics, I have my second course online is going to be published starting August 1st. And I'm super excited. I'm going to hit the road. There's going to be a 3 parts, part A, part B, and part C. Part A will be online only, or I will have it be all in person. So I'm going to start traveling around and doing those, teaching the teachers, which is my biggest passion, to try to reach the most of you as possible. I want to thank my friends at Omega Sports. They've been keeping the Carolinas moving forward for over 40 years. I highly recommend checking them out locally or online. Of note, the views and opinions of this show do not reflect those of Omega Sports. For better or for worse, they are my own. I really hope you got something out of today's episode. Remember, next episode will be part 2, episode number 9, Need for Speed, where I talk about how to train to get faster. If you want to vote on the topics, you can follow me on Instagram at Learn to Run, or you can email the show at info@learntorun101.com, which will be in the show notes. And you can help support me and Mary and Dell and the show, everyone at Omega. We're a whole team and a family. You can help support us by subscribing, sharing the content with your friends, and leaving a review. The Omega Sports Learn to Run podcast will soon be available on all major platforms. Until next time, bye.